Jean-Luc Picard set an unwanted Star Trek record as the captain of two different Starfleet ships. In many ways, Patrick Stewart's performance as Captain Jean-Luc Picard was what made Star Trek the next generation into the absolutely groundbreaking show it is to this day, but he has an unfortunate record in the franchise. From his Earl Grey, hot to Captain Picard's mimetic facepalm when facing John Delancey's Q, Stewart's character brought countless iconic moments to the Star Trek franchise. While Captain Picard might be, in some ways, the polar opposite of Captain James T. Kirk William Shatner from Star Trek, the original series, Jean-Luc Picard was nevertheless one of Starfleet's most impressive captains ever. Of course, Captain Picard's Starfleet career was far from spotless. Like any lifelong Starfleet officer, Captain Picard had his share of mistakes and missteps over more than half a century as an officer. In the universe, Captain Picard's greatest controversies are, presumably, the Borg attack at Wolf 359 and his retirement over the Romulan supernova in Picard Season 1. But more than one calamity occurred under Captain Picard's watch, and one particular incident actually set a record that remains unmatched in the rest of the complete Star Trek timeline. Picard is the only Star Trek captain who lost two starships back-to-back. Before he became the captain of Star Trek's USS Enterprise D, Jean-Luc Picard began his tenure as a Starfleet captain on the USS Stargazer. After serving on numerous non-specified starships, a young Lieutenant Picard served as the helmsman on the Stargazer in 2333. When the Stargazer's captain and first officer were killed, Picard took command of the Stargazer and saved the ship. Starfleet Command was so impressed that they appointed Picard the new captain of the Stargazer, and he would hold that position for 22 years until the Stargazer was lost in the Battle of Maxia in 2355. While other Starfleet captains have lost their ships, Captain Picard is the only Star Trek captain to lose two ships in a row. Less than 10 years later, in 2363, Jean-Luc Picard would become captain of the USS Enterprise D, Starfleet's flagship, whose voyages are laid out in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Tragically, the Enterprise D was also destroyed in 2371, after only 8 years under Picard's captaincy. This means that Captain Picard oversaw the destruction of two starships. Captain Picard took command of the USS Enterprise E after this destruction, and he was promoted to Admiral only 10 years later. While other Starfleet captains have lost their ships, Captain Picard is the only Star Trek captain to lose two ships in a row. Captain Jean-Luc Picard is one of the most celebrated leaders in Star Trek history, but even legends can find themselves at the center of unfortunate milestones. Among the many accolades and honors attached to Picard's name, there's one record he likely never wanted: being the only captain in Star Trek canon to witness the destruction of not one, but two different Starfleet ships under his command. First came the USS Stargazer, a Constellation-class vessel Picard commanded for over 20 years. It was his first captaincy, and during a fierce encounter with a Ferengi vessel, the Stargazer was ultimately abandoned after suffering irreparable damage. While Picard's famed Picard maneuver saved his life and the crew, it wasn't enough to save the ship. The incident haunted Picard, both emotionally and professionally, especially after the Ferengi tried to use it against him years later. Then came the flagship of the Federation, the USS Enterprise D. Under Picard's command, the Galaxy-class ship became an icon across the galaxy, hosting some of Starfleet's most important missions. But in the 1994 film Star Trek: Generations, the Enterprise D met its demise on the planet Viridian 3. A surprise attack by a Klingon bird of prey exposed a weakness in the ship's shield harmonics, leading to a warp core breach that destroyed the vessel. While the destruction of starships in Star Trek isn't rare, the loss of two ships under one captain's command is, and Jean-Luc Picard holds that dubious distinction. Other captains, like Kirk or Janeway, have come close to similar disasters, but never lost multiple ships they commanded. This unwanted record is a testament to the high-stakes life of a Starfleet captain. For Picard, it was never about clinging to a ship, it was about the mission, the crew, and the ideals of the Federation. And while the Stargazer and Enterprise D are gone, the legacy Picard built aboard them continues to inspire across the stars. Even in loss, Picard's strength, integrity, and leadership shine through, turning an unfortunate record into another chapter of a truly remarkable career.